And who the hell are you? Wait a minute. It says John Freely. So it can't possibly be him.
Who's the master?
You are, sir.
No.
Daddy. Wait,
no.
what am I supposed to call you?
No. You are the master, sir.
How are you, sir?
You are the last dragon. Dude. Eric. This is Eric, right?
Yeah, it is.
Listen, bro. I watched your jaywalking video today, your court video. Dude, you're my fucking hero, bro. You understand me? You understand me, bro? You fucking listen to me, dude. Listen to me. Listen, bro. You fucking put that. You shit all over that judge's face, dude. I swear to God, I fucking toasted up about 2 cups of popcorn and sat down, and that was, dude. You made my fucking day. So
I've been sitting on that for like a year and a half and not knowing what to do with it, and well. Then my computer crashed in the middle of it. It wouldn't encode anymore, so I had to buy a new $5,000 computer system, and then it just came to me.
Eric, you don't mind if I record and publish this call, do you?
Oh, not at all. Go ahead.
Dude, okay. Where are you from?
I was born and raised in the Estes Park, Colorado area, but I've lived pretty much all over.
Okay, and what got you rolling in the direction that you're in?
Well, you want the real version or the Reader's Digest version there?
Fucking give me the raw shit, man. Bring it. Like you know how to.
So, well, first of all, my background is pretty good. You know, I grew up in Estes Park, so I worked in the service industry. I actually worked at the Stanley Hotel in high school. And my senior year of high school, I applied to be a Rotary Exchange student. I wanted to go to France. And I got selected, much to my surprise. But I got sent to Belgium instead, which is great. I had a great time. I spent a whole year there. And so I speak French pretty damn well. Then I came back and I got a job with a company, and I was supposed to work for their engineer, and learn the trade and get my degree and all that. Well, he quit right after I started working, and the boss just said, "Learn quick, kid." And that was too much. It was too much work for somebody without the proper formal education. It was good. Don't get me wrong, but it's not easy. So I looked for options, and my options floated to the top that if I were a reactor operator on a submarine, I would get the best education that exists. And I could be 80 years old and drooling all over myself in a wheelchair and still take a service cruise, but I'll never get to be on a sub again. And those were my main motivating factors for going to the Navy. I got the program and graduated at the top of my class from Naval Nuclear Power Training Command, and I went to sea for 6 years on 2 fast-attack submarines out of Pearl Harbor, USS Birmingham and USS Columbus. So I spent 8 years in the Navy. I have a VA disability pension, and I've always pretty much done good at whatever I've done, and I was called the golden boy. I was always mischievous, but never in trouble. And then when I was 38 years old, when I was 38 years old, and I'll skip all the details in between how we got there, but so I'm in Greeley, Colorado, and I'm with this woman who I didn't know was my wife until she filed for divorce, but that's a whole different story.
Okay.
And she was a con artist, had served time in the Montana Women's Prison for exactly the same shit, and she ended up serving time in the Colorado prison for 6 years as well. But in the process of this, she's moving hundreds of thousands of dollars through my name. Everything's attached to me, and I don't even know it. And she's basically defrauding people out of, well, they said they could pin her to $1.5 million, but they think it was closer to $7 million. And I was completely fucking clueless. Things were getting I started sort of figured something was wrong. And now she needed a new plan. She needed to get me out of there quick. And so she was going to get rid of me with domestic violence, which would save the house from the mortgage because of the Obama law. And then she was going to split and bag ass and expose everything. And I would go down for all of it. And lucky me, I had a good judge. She's still there, Michelle Meyer. And she thought I was drug out of my house in the middle of the night with no warrant. And the judge says, I just don't see that there was probable cause for this warrantless arrest. Mm-hmm. I've read this file several times. And that was the first time in my life that I actually internalized what a check and balance was. And I was not happy with the cops. They're like, they're demanding that I say they came in my house in the middle of the night, for fuck's sake. They arrested me in my underwear. My wife was throwing objects at me and beating me, trying to get me to take the fall, and it damn near worked. So when the judge got me released, she personally called me a few days later. The judge did. I know now that's unusual. Then I didn't know that. To tell me that the district attorney dismissed all the charges in my case. I was charged with false imprisonment with domestic violence. And that means that the protection order that she imposed, preventing me from going to my home, is now vacated. Oh, thank you, Your Honor. I appreciate that. This was my first arrest, so I really didn't know anything about these processes. And she says, Mr. Brandt, it's very important that before you go to your home, that you come down and get some important paperwork from my clerk. Will you promise me that you'll do that right away? Yes, ma'am, absolutely. Like shit, you're going to like shit, right? Well, I know now, obviously, you heard the trial has, I don't subscribe to that. But at the time, hey, what do I know? So I did. I went down there, and the clerk grabs my hands and holds my hands with two hands, clasping the paperwork. And she said, Michelle thinks that your life is in danger. She thinks you should not even go home to get your things. There are no men's shelters. The women's shelters will take you. Go now.
What?
Yeah. So I did.
Wait. The judge called you personally, told you to come down to the clerk's office and sign some paperwork?
No, what she handed me was the stack of paperwork when I went and looked at it was pamphlets on domestic violence and women's shelters, abuse shelters.
So so basically she told you to come down there to insinuate that you have a problem?
No, she wanted me to get out of there because she said that I was in danger and I needed to get out. She said, there are no men's shelters. The women's shelters will take you. Go now.
So the judge told you were in danger from the con artist?
From Alice, yeah. Alice Bridget Maloney.
Okay.
Yeah. So I did. Well, Alice found me. And so they didn't put me in a women's shelter, right? They're not going to put a guy in a shelter with a bunch of women that just got beat up by their man. They put me in a hotel.
Okay.
And then Alice located me, and they put me in another hotel. And Alice located me, and they put me up in the mountains in a cabin with no power, no water, and a outhouse up the hill. And it was
now, who put you there? The court system? The courts?
The shelter.
Okay.
The shelter.
Oh, okay. All right.
So they caught Alice mostly because my mother had identity theft protection service on her account, and they said, Mrs. Wolf, you've been applying for an awful lot of credit in the northern Colorado area. She goes, oh, no, that would be Alice Maloney. Here's everything I know about her. And they caught her, and they took her down.
Oh, so she's in jail?
6 years.
How many?
She what? 6 years.
She did 6?
Yeah.
Is she out now?
She's out of the system now, which means I don't know where she is. And considering that I'm pretty much the easiest guy in town to find, that does concern me.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
But anyway, so this incident, that was a long part of that. That's just like you needed some background there, I think. That incident was the first time that I understood or internalized what these checks and balances are. It's the first time I understood what Mr. McMurray meant when the first day of civics class in high school as a freshman, he handed out pocket constitutions and told us, you carry this with you everywhere you go, and when the police stop you, you pull it out because you have rights and you need to know these. And of course, I didn't pay attention, and I didn't get it for another 20 years. And 20 years later, I was like, oh my God, that's what this is. So now we take a period of a few years where I'm studying more about this stuff and becoming more knowledgeable on what people's rights are, and also becoming a little bit more bold at asserting those rights in situations, mine or others, that I think that there's a violation going on. And my eyes just kept opening and opening and opening to the fact that there's rampant, wanton, direct violations happening all the time.
Non-stop.
It's non-stop.
It's the norm.
Yeah.
Yes.
And yeah.
Yeah.
So then through this Alice thing and that whole situation, I ended up homeless. I was homeless for a couple of years. I'm an engineer, so I dumpster dived, and I had all of the modern comforts in my little yard behind the fence at the Pyrenean Dog Chow Plant.
How long?
2 years.
Okay.
And quite frankly, I was comfortable for the most part because I had running water.
What about the wintertime? What would you do then?
Colorado doesn't get too terribly cold. It does get cold. My first winter was not as comfortable as my second winter. I'll tell you that. I made myself comfy. But I had heat. I had water. When I say water, I mean I had running water.
How? Where?
Because I collected little things here and there. And I had a tank from an RV, and I had a pump, and I had sink, and just put it all together.
What property were you on?
This woman rented a piece of property over by the Pyrenean Dog Chow Plant. It's basically Josephine, York, at 43rd area.
Mm-hmm.
And she scrapped metal there for years and years and years. She's a good friend of mine. And she rented me like 25-foot section at the end of her yard.
Oh, okay.
So I had a 25 by 35-foot space. It was mine, and I did very well there, but I stagnated there because I was comfortable. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And then I ended up getting into the VA's housing program, and the apartment that I was able to find was in Westminster, Colorado. Lucky me.
Mm-hmm.
Because the shit hit the fan there, right? I never had a single issue, not one, with the police the entire time I was homeless. And the police constantly abused the homeless.
And where is this at?
In Denver. I was homeless in Denver.
Stop. Say that slow and louder.
I was homeless in Denver, the Pyrenean plant in Denver. But
Denver, okay.
Yeah. So the whole time, though, there was a couple cops that came by my area all the time. They would throw a ball with my dog. And I never had a problem with a cop in Denver when I was homeless.
Mm-hmm.
But again, I was, in a yard, technically, and I took care of myself. But I get to Westminster, and then fucking cops are on me like stink on shit. And I'm constantly getting harassed, and I'm getting arrested for stupid shit. And basically, the real answer is that if you stand up to their authority, they will kick you down, period.
Oh, yeah.
You will comply, or we will kill you.
Or retaliate in some way. They will try to do... You can't just stand up for your rights. That doesn't ever happen.
Nope. And no, not at all. So I had this string of problems there. I did not realize until months down the road when I won an eviction trial that it was all pretty much predicated by the lady across the hall from me, who was a germaphobe.
Mm-hmm.
I didn't like that I actually fucking enjoy dumpster diving and furnished my whole fucking apartment out of dumpsters. And fed a lot of people, quite frankly. And
my wife watches those videos constantly, by the way.
See, I love dumpster diving, and I miss it. I haven't been able to do it with all this legal shit, but hopefully one day I'll be able to do it again. You just never know what you're going to get. It's always a challenge, and half the challenge is figuring out how you're going to get all this shit home.
All right.
But yeah, so it's just very curious what people will get rid of, and it pretty much disassembled everything. So you learned a lot about how this different company solved that issue. That's how they opened that CD door. It's completely novel design or whatever.
So where do you stay now, Eric?
So, well, I'm housed now. I'm not homeless now. But
what city do you live in?
I'm in Golden, Colorado now.
And I saw a video where the mall, you and I know his name's not Andy.
You mean Abadi?
The Liberty Freak.
Yeah, Abadi. Abadi.
Abadi and you, and I believe Freeman was in one of the videos, but the cops there are handcuffing a guy for smoking a cigarette while the legend.
I missed that one because they had a bolo out on me, so I took off on that one. That was the week before.
Okay.
The homeless guy smoking guy, yeah. The next week is when Freeman was here.
That was another good one where you guys went fucking ape shit on those cops.
Oh, that wasn't a good one. That was a fucking fantastic one.
That was great, man. That was fucking great. It wasn't as good as the one I watched today, but it was fucking great, man. Dude, you don't understand how fucking great that would. If I cover that video, I'm just taking out the spoiler parts you put in the front because ain't no need for that, man. That shit was gold all the way through from start to fucking finish.
Did you notice my little dog in cameo?
What's that?
Did you notice my little dog made a cameo?
In the, what? Just now?
He made a cameo in my trial. He
really?
Went up and he pissed on the judge, and then he came up and he pissed on the cop.
Oh, you mean the little icons?
My little wiener dog.
Yeah, I saw that. Yeah. In the fucking witness said I came to hold his wiener. dude, that was the best fucking video I've seen in a long time.
And that was like, Dave never gets like excited about anything. So that funny came out of him when he did even funnier. Well, I thought they were going to arrest Eric, so I went there to hold his wiener. I remember right before that, the judge had basically told me that if I don't shut up, I'm going to go to jail for contempt.
Yeah,
so I stood up in the courtroom, and I'm holding a copy of the Pocket Constitution high above my head, staring past him. And I'm just standing there silently like a statue. And then Dave says, well, I thought they were going to arrest him. So I went over there to hold his wiener, and the room is crickets. And I'm finally like, for the record, that's a dog. Get slammed.
Dude, that was fucking gold, man. Gold. Just fucking gold. I don't know. I'd have to flip a coin between that one and the Freeman videos, man. I'll tell you what.
That Freeman video was pretty fucking good.
Yeah, but how many videos of somebody do you fucking check that judge every second? Every time he tried to do something dumb and say something stupid, you fucking put him in check.
Everything he did.
Exactly. Well, that's what fucking judges do. They've grown so accustomed to just shearing the sheep. When a guy like you comes in there, you don't know what the fuck to do other than threaten you with violence, and that's exactly what it came down to.
Yeah, it's exactly what it came down to. And you know that fucking cop is just all yawning over there. But that's not what was happening in the rest of the courtroom. I wish we had video. There were two prosecuting attorneys that had been fleecing the public with plea bargains just prior to this hearing. And of course, they saved the hearing for that, and they don't really like anybody to be in the room when I'm speaking.
Right.
Judges make that mistake never more than twice. They make me wait all fucking day. But
they do it to me too.
Yeah. And of course, and before, oh, fuck, I don't need to be at court at 8:30. Get real. They don't think it starts until like 10. So you'd roll in at 10:30 and you'd be fine, right? Well, then they started always doing me last, and then they started FTAing me at like 8:15.
What's FTA?
The failure to appear.
Oh, I see.
So I have to be there, but that fucker's going to make me sit there for 4 hours. Okay, I'll get you.
Dude, you got your fucking...
Did you know that I'm the guy that was arrested for jury nullification, right? Did you hear any of that?
What do you mean, as a juror?
I was arrested and charged
handing out stuff?
I was handing out literature from the Lindsay Flanagan courthouse with my buddy Mark Yanaselli, who said, this is all legal, right? We're not going to get arrested or anything. And I said, oh, for Christ's sakes, Mark, don't be ridiculous. It's free speech. It's pamphlet. What prosecutor in the world would be so dumb as to put as evidence in every juror's hand the very information that tells them that they don't have to follow the law? Don't be ridiculous. Well, they arrested him while I was inside helping a woman clear a warrant and charged him with 7 felony counts of jury tampering.
7 felony counts.
Yeah. So I emailed the district attorney and I said, what the fuck is wrong with you people? I handed out at least as many flyers as Mr. Yanaselli, and I demand equal justice under the law. So they put a warrant out for my arrest, put my face all over the TV, second man wanted in jury tampering case, warning may be armed with dangerous literature, and it's still going through the court.
Maybe what? Wait, whoa. Did you just make that part up?
Oh, yeah. That's
okay, all right.
I added the part of maybe armed with dangerous literature, yes.
Okay, go ahead.
But no, they really did put me on the TV and arrest me.
Just they didn't say that like that, though, right?
They didn't, no.
Okay,
and,
all right.
So we go through this process, and other activists filed a civil rights lawsuit, and they got a federal injunction protecting us on the plaza, where the court said this plaza is a free speech zone 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. So we're like, 24 hours a day? 7 days a week? We fucking moved in for 57 straight days and nights.
Which plaza are we talking about?
The Thule Plaza, which is the Denver Courthouse Plaza.
So it's a plaza...
When I say we moved in, I mean we moved in.
It's a plaza that's on the Denver Courthouse property?
Right. When they built the new courthouse, the new Justice Center, it's the jail on one side and the courthouse on the other, connected by a tunnel. And what used to be Elati Street was closed off to general traffic and is now called Thule Plaza.
Now, when you say you moved in there, you mean you went there every day?
We occupied that ditch. Yes, 24 hours a day, 7 days a week.
You slept there?
Oh, yeah. Oh, we had 36 raids by armed militarized riot police and 24 arrests. I was 9 of those arrests.
And what's the charge?
Oh, they arrested us for everything. They started locking the jail up at 10 o'clock so we couldn't use their bathrooms. And then they arrested 2 brown people for public urination, but they always gave the white people a warning. I would go like 3 blocks down the street, actually, and they came up and said, "Hey, Eric, we're getting a warrant for you. We got you on infrared halo cam pissing behind that dumpster last night about 3 o'clock in the morning." That would be, and I trust me, they described it enough that they were right. I said, "Oh, okay, go ahead. I'll take that one to the box. Of course, you're going to have to explain to my jurors that you're a creeper peeper watching people's peters in the middle of the night on infrared camera, but go ahead." Never bothered anybody again for public urination. They spent about $8 million on this.
$8 million?
We were out there with, oh, yeah. We had huge jury nullification banners, and we flooded the court system. The numbers that I pulled showed that we went from 40 jury trials in a year in the 3 general sessions courtrooms to 100. And the acquittal rates went from 17% to 35%.
Let me ask you something about that first stat. Say that first stat again.
So the Denver courthouse has the district court and the municipal court and the county court. Mm-hmm. So general sessions is the municipal part of it. So that's the statistical information that I was able to obtain. And I got the data for 2014, 2015, and 2016. Mm-hmm. And in 2014, before the jury nullification arrest, there were 40 jury trials out of 2,500 cases filed. Mm-hmm. And there was a 17% acquittal rate. About 7 of them were acquitted. Mm-hmm. In 2015, we were there for half the year. We didn't get arrested until the end of July. And I don't have data from them that's any more refined than this, but it's just annual data. So we were there for 6 months. It jumped from 40 trials to 70 trials.
Now, that's my question.
The rate was 41%.
Now, it jumped because why?
I did not expect that jump. I expected an increase in acquittal rates, but apparently those defense attorneys that keep walking past us with us handing all that information out every day may have felt a little bit more inspired and willing to help their clients go to trial. What I think happened. It was an unexpected result.
Oh,
and I don't actually have an explanation.
All right. So what was the second step?
So the second set, 2015, was 70 trials, 41% acquittal rate.
Oh, so that jumped too. So almost half.
Yeah.
That's
so
great.
now the prosecution and the courts are working 6 times harder.
That's great.
Yeah, that's awesome. That's awesome. And
that's a real change, bro.
Yeah, well, it's even worse because they'd arrested us so many times that we were constantly there for court support, even when we weren't living there anymore. I finally said, "Hey guys, I got too many cases here. I got to back out of this. We got to step back and take a retreat. I can't do this." Listen, like I got arrested 9 times in 57 days.
So how do you do this stuff? Oh, okay. When you moved in, you don't really need money. I'm thinking, how do you survive? How do you survive financially?
Well, I have a VA disability pension, so I get paid every month whether I'm in jail or not.
Okay.
And thank you for that. I appreciate that. And then the other way that we survive, well, I met a woman during this process. She's from Turkey. She's a VA internal medicine doctor. Her best friend was killed by a police tank during a police protest in Turkey when she was 16 years old, run over right by her. And she values liberties and free speech. But she's got 3,000 patients and she can't get arrested. So what she does is she helps her friends stay out of jail. And I can't tell you how many bonds of mine she has posted in cash. Mm-hmm. But I can tell you the day that I met her. When they arrested me on the warrant for the jury tampering case, and I went to the courtroom the next morning for my advisal, and my civil rights lawyer, whom I had not yet even talked to, is standing right there. He meets with me. As I come out into the courtroom, this whole right side of the courtroom stands up. They stand up for me. And that group of people was Occupy Denver.
Oh, they stood up like in honor.
Right.
Okay.
And then the judge sets a $3,500 cash only bond, and my lawyer objected to it, and she wouldn't change it, and so I turned my back on her, and now all these people, they're just thumbs upping, and their glee in their faces is amazing. And this woman stands up to the side with long salt and pepper hair, thick accent, and she goes, "Your Honor, can that bond be posted in cash right now?" And the judge, she goes, "Do you think you can afford it?" I'm an internal medicine doctor with the VA. I'm pretty sure I've got this one covered. And she turned around and marched out and posted that fucking bond. She probably posted over $50,000 in cash bonds for me. Is
that someone you want to name?
I don't know if she would want me to name her.
All right, I understand.
If I had asked her in advance before saying that,
I would not because of anything, But whatever, that's fucking awesome.
Here's what I'll tell you that Eric Verlo is a very good friend of hers, and he writes for a website called Not My Tribe. Okay. And if you look up federal court cases with Eric Verlo's name on it, you'll see the Verlo, Matson, and Fully Informed Jury Association case, which is the case regarding the jury nullification. Mm-hmm. And then you're also going to see Eric Verlo attached to another case. And I'll tell you that the other plaintiff in that case is the doctor.
Okay. So, anyone who just heard that,
yeah,
and you have your decoder ring.
If you guys wanted that, I'm going to make you earn a little bit of it. That case is very interesting too.
You need your Eric Brandt decoder ring, and you can find out who he's talking about.
Right. It's the shape of a middle finger. You pull the finger down, and it suddenly reveals the code.
That's awesome.
But you want to know how I survived because I have people that have posted bonds for me. No. I have a bondswoman that has posted bonds. I just paid her thousands of dollars from a settlement I just got to cover years worth of bonds that she just simply posted and said, "We'll take care of it later." And I insisted. I pinned her down. I said, "You need to tell me how much I owe you." And she finally did this week, as a matter of fact. But yeah, there's just a lot of people out there that support
that's great.
The work. They recognize that they can't take those risks. They do recognize the risks are real, mm-hmm. and they are willing to contribute in their way.
Yeah, that's great.
Yeah. So yeah, right now I'm moving around. I've been moving around about every month or so right now for a variety of reasons. Being a high value target is certainly one of them. And, but I'm not homeless. A lot of people question that. I don't judge homeless. I do try to help the homeless a lot. A lot of my actions I take in direct attack on the laws that are criminalizing the homeless.
Right.
In Denver, it's a crime to sit on the ground.
Oh, really?
It's called the sit-and-lie law. So what did I do? I took a big box out of a dumpster on a precious 16th Street mall cash register, and a big box, like 6 foot high. I wrote Acme Cop Catcher Kit on the back. And in the front, I put Police Appreciation Day, free donut. This is not a trap. And I put a donut under that box, and I sat down behind it holding the string.
And you did what?
And I was arrested.
And you sat down on what?
I sat down on the ground.
Okay.
Holding the string of the Cop Catcher Kit.
Okay.
KKK Cop Catcher Kit.
That's fun.
The cops pulled up on me, Raspoli and Mockatong, and they told me that I can't sit down. I said, well, of course I can sit down. I am sitting down. I'm being very successful with it.
All right.
Well, you have to stand up. I said, well, I'm not going to stand up. You're going to have to arrest me to get me stand up. So they fill out some paperwork, and I think it's a citation. And he says, all right, so are you going to sign this for me then? I said, you bet. And I hopped right up. I looked at it. I said, this isn't a citation. This is a warning. I told you were going to have to arrest me. Well, you have to do this first. I said, so you tell me that if I sign right here and I sit my happy ass back down on the ground, then you're going to arrest me? Yes. Okay. So I signed it. I sat down and got arrested. And I had a 3-day jury trial.
Okay.
I told my jurors that I did it. They had to find me guilty. They deliberated for 7 minutes. Not guilty.
Not guilty of what? Sitting down?
Sitting down on the ground.
That's fucking... What is that? I don't even have the words.
I have a video of A.A. Martinez making a pregnant woman stand up.
Dude, and the thing is, police have discretion, so they don't have to be ass fuckers like they act, the way they act. They don't have to do that.
Well, I see your ass fuckery, bitch, and I raise. How's that?
Well, I call your ass fuckery and fold. I don't even know what I just said.
It sounded great.
What happened with the jury nullification trial?
Okay, so the jury nullification cases move on, and Judge Kenneth Plotz dismisses the charges. So that was July. Now we're in December. He dismisses the charges as protected speech.
Of course.
And yeah, and so that's great. That's glorious. Everybody has their heyday, and then the district attorney appealed it.
Why? Because they're butthurt?
Well, Bitch Morrissey, he spells it Mitch Morrissey, but we all know that it's Bitch Morrissey.
Sure.
Mitch Morrissey's office actually participated. The district attorney's office asked for these arrests. So I don't know how much you know about immunities.
They don't like you.
But
period.
Well, let me tell you, the conspiracy here goes deeper than you think. If you could see my Venn diagram that I've tried to tell my lawyers for years, hey, we got a problem right here. We got a problem. This is going to come up and bite us. Sure as fuck it did recently, but that's okay. We're going to make it through that. But yeah, you don't have any idea how deep the hate goes. And but the district attorney is immune from suits of false prosecution, malicious prosecution, in every circumstance.
Why is that?
Unless they participated in the investigation of bringing charges.
Well, they did.
So then, in this case, they did. So if the cop makes an outrageous mistake and blatantly violates your rights with the prosecution, once he files that and commences it, the prosecutor can do whatever he wants.
Yeah, that's fun.
And they know it. Yeah. They'll overload the charges. They can lie. It's outrageous. And they have immunity in civil suit from that.
Wow.
But when they made the arrest, when they ordered it, they don't have that immunity. So my lawyer is salivating that he gets to sue the district attorney.
District attorney of which Denver?
The second judicial district, which would be Denver.
And what's the prosecutor's name?
His name was Bitch Morrissey. M-I-T-C-H. Bitch Morrissey.
Okay.
So he's been succeeded by Beth McCann. So if you look that up and you see that, that's not the right guy. Well, it was the right guy. But he initiated this appeal. I think that he initiated appeal largely to try and give him a chance to insulate himself from the civil liability.
Oh, I see. Just to stall.
I mean, there's always a chance a witness can die before the court case concludes, right? I mean, come on. Between now and then, there's a very good chance they could hem me up and send me to prison for the rest of my life.
Right. Pull that Stephen Avery shit on you.
And I'm the only one that has any risk here, right?
Well, yeah, pretty much.
Right. He doesn't have any risk because it's paid for by insurance anyway. But so they appealed it, and the Colorado Appellate Court said, we affirm Plotz's dismissal.
Okay.
It's protected speech. In fact, we're going to go a step farther than you asked us to go, and we're going to narrow the scope of their jury tampering clause.
So they had to change their policy?
What they did was they went ahead and they defined, established the scope of the jury tampering charge as being a specific written communication to a specific juror on a specific case,
right?
Expressly advocating for a specific action that is within the public's expected duty of the jury.
Oh, so you mean tampering?
Oh, tampering, yeah.
Something you were not doing.
Yeah, so the district attorney is alleging that as soon as a person receives their summons, that they need to report for veneer on jury duty, that they are a juror. So, and that anything that we do to try and influence the jurors' decisions, influence their mind, is a violation. So the court is like, what happens if they read the newspaper that morning? Right. Is the Denver Post now guilty of jury tampering? People would stand out on streets where they know or they hope that jurors are going to be going by with placards that say, "Quit the Chicago 7." It's not jury tampering. But when they open their lunch pail and lunch bag and there's a little piece of paper folded up in there that says, "Find the defendant guilty," that's jury tampering.
Yes, it is.
So the Colorado Appellate Court upheld the ruling, and you could look at that. That's 2017 COA 150, the People versus Brandt and Iannicelli.
You're the man, bro.
Say again?
You are the man, sir.
That case was just sent to the Colorado Supreme Court. They accepted the district attorney's petition for cert. And if you look in the Westword, WESTWORD, if you type in Westword jury nullification, they just published an article about their pleading. It was just, their brief was just filed.
So go ahead.
Yeah, so I will make case law that is binding to the state of Colorado and persuasive to our neighbors. Good. Absolutely, one way or the other. Hopefully within the next year. And my lawyer expects us to prevail. He expects the district attorney to try and take it to the federal Supreme Court. So hopefully
the DA is still going to keep fighting you guys and appealing?
I'm a little surprised that Beth McCann did file for cert, actually, because Beth McCann, who's the district attorney now, she's actually famous and has publicly announced that the very first trial she ever did while she was still in law school was a woman who was that didn't report all of her pizza delivery kits. And so they charged her with food stamp fraud, trying to raise her 5 kids, deliver pizza. And she won the case by arguing jury nullification.
Okay.
Yeah, so I'm a little surprised that Beth McCann continued to pursue that cert.
So that's not over?
No.
So your jury nullification that you've already gotten 2 decisions in your favor is still not over?
That's right. The brief was just sent to the Colorado Supreme Court. The Colorado Supreme Court accepted bringing up the question. They're going to take up the question.
So they're going to have another trial about you handing out pamphlets with general information to the general public?
Well, it's not a trial. I mean, they review things on the record. But yeah, exactly.
Oh my goodness.
Exactly. They're still trying to criminalize us for handing out jury nullification literature. And they've built 2 new courtrooms at the courthouse to handle the increased load because they're now pumping through over 100 trials a year. They were saturated at 33 trials per courtroom. That's a year's worth. They can't do any more work than that.
And would you advise people to never take a plea and just grind, just be a screwdriver in the gears of the extortion center?
I think that anybody that would make such an advisement would be myopic, and people that would follow that advice would be in substantial real peril. So, no, I do not believe that you should never take a plea bargain, because there may very well be situations where it's the right thing to do. I'm on a felony diversion right now because I had to take a plea bargain.
Okay, let me ask you this then.
Strategic decision.
Okay, that makes perfect sense. So let me rephrase my question. Is for something like jaywalking or speeding or lack of address citation, would that be a good time to be a screwdriver in the gears of the extortion center?
You know, I really like to test limits, and I like to move all the parts of the machinery, because if you don't move them, then they're going to seize. They're not going to get lubricated, right? So I do like to put the machine through all of its operations, and but I don't like to put the machine through those operations where their risk is extraordinary.
So
this jaywalking case was a $22 ticket.
That's amazing.
Pay $22 or show up for court.
Dude, that was $1 million ticket in my eyes. That was the fucking best.
And I wasn't going to give them the fucking $22.
Good.
As a matter of fact, I'm actually going to be doing a lot more with this case than you think. I'm in federal court on it right now.
Fucking great.
I'm suing Donder, and unfortunately, the people that are the most aggrieved are the ones least likely to champion their own cause. So, unfortunately, the others that were in on this with me just haven't been able to hold it together long enough. But I'll be pulling data and records I believe that the cops are absolutely abusing the jaywalking statute.
Sure.
I have never been charged with jaywalking when I was actually jaywalking. I've been charged with jaywalking just for asking them for their business cards.
Right.
Oh, really? You want to play me that game? Here, how about this? I'll give you a citation for jaywalking. Might never be on a ticket. Oh, no.
Retaliation.
Thank you. Absolutely, yeah. And so I believe that when I pull the data, and I do have some money set aside for that right now that I got that settlement. It's an expensive data set. Mm-hmm. I believe that the data is going to show that there is a pattern of police initiating pedestrian contact. So dispatch will show a pedestrian contact. And that's going to be a jaywalking case. And I believe that we're going to find that they're almost never at locations where there are two working stoplights back to back. That's the only time that you have to use a marked crosswalk. There's so much traffic expected here that we must predict where pedestrians are going to be to prevent injuries and damage. So they must use the crosswalk if we're going to put up $1 million worth of stoplights.
Right.
Otherwise, you just have to yield right away to cars on the roadway.
Right.
And so I think that the locations are mostly going to be locations where that statute doesn't apply at all. I also believe that it's going to be late at night. So if the jaywalking statute is ostensibly founded in its substantial government interest of protecting the pedestrians and the drivers in busy roadways, that would not apply at 2 o'clock in the morning.
Right.
Right? So, oops, failed there. I also think that you're going to see the same names over and over again.
Mm-hmm.
And I think that you're going to see a lot of those pedestrian contacts that will not be charged with jaywalking, but will be charged with something else or taken in on a warrant.
So they're using it to make contact.
It's going to be the downtrodden, the homeless, the alcoholics, and the drug addicts.
Right.
And the blacks and the browns, of course.
Right.
And so I think we're going to see I'm positive that the data is going to show this. Just by the number of jaywalking contacts that the people in my circle have had, there's no question that they're deliberately abusing the statute as their preface for reasonable suspicion to detain you.
Yes, sir. Absolutely.
So I'm not done with the jaywalking question. I'm going to turn the $22 ticket into a goddamn fucking nightmare.
Dude, jaywalking is fucking scumbaggery, piece of shittery. You're going to take someone's money for walking. You're fucking walking. Fuck you. You know what I'm saying? You're gonna fucking fuck with me for walking? Whoever wrote this should be backhanded immediately.
If I were to acquiesce to that the statute is lawful, that it's not a violation,
fuck that.
That it's if I were to acquiesce to that, the problem still remains is that the judge did not even know what the statute said.
No, that's fucking normal for them not to know.
I know.
They have their system. They got their clippers out. They go in there, they shear a little bit off each person, and they send you on your way. It's an extortion factory.
Of my 5 jaywalking tickets in Adams County, and I say that's me and Adrian Brown and Jenna Brown. That between the 3 of us, we have 5 of these. I'm the only one that's bringing mine to federal court. In all 5 of those cases, it didn't qualify as jaywalking.
Right.
And in one of those cases, and one only, that trial you just heard, did the cop even bother to show up for the final hearing?
Right. They just want to throw a little wrench in your gears. That's all. You had to show up there.
Any more effort into it at all, and you made 2 or 3 appearances. The Adams County Courthouse is 2 hours round trip by bus. It is 30 miles out of town. You have to show up for at least 2, maybe 3 hearings. If you don't show up,
warrant.
Then it's a default. No, they can't put a warrant out for it, but they can charge you. And now you've got to pay all the court costs and fees. And if you don't pay that, then they'll suspend your license. And then you've got to pay all the court costs and fees and the reinstatement fee. So the cop doesn't put any more effort into it at all. He might not even drop the ticket in the box. The case may never even get filed.
Right.
And he gets to fuck with you for years.
Yep.
For years. Fuck you, pig.
That's right. That's right.
I believe my middle finger will be answering all my questions today.
What time is it where you're at?
It is, I don't know, 9 o'clock, 9:20.
May I ask how old you are?
I am 47 years old. Just had a birthday last week.
Happy birthday, sir.
Thank you.
And we need to talk again. I just want to ask one last question to finish this interview up, and you can call me anytime you want, sir. You have my number.
Thank you.
Okay, last question. Something about you being barefoot. Is that something you do for a reason, or tell me about
Thank you for asking that question.
Yeah, sure.
I appreciate that you asked me that question.
Sure.
So, with some of the money that I won in my first police brutality lawsuit in Westminster, 2016, I started a nonprofit organization, Survive Bad Cops Incorporated. And my intention was to help serve the homeless community in particular, to help them know when their court dates are, do some case management, maybe get them rides. I've not been able to do as much of that work as I wanted to because they were not going to let me and Adrian Brown replicate our success. They hit us real hard. But we were asked to participate in a rulemaking process with Regional Transportation District, RTD. They took all these ad hoc policies and rules that the drivers and that they enforce, but not well. And the police deputy chief that they hired was like, this is not proper. We need to have this better codified so the public knows what the expectations are, so they can be uniformly applied across the whole district. Great idea. And I like this guy's name, Steve Martintano. So they coalesced it into this code of conduct. They asked my organization if we would provide input into their proposed rules. And we did. A number of them that we had concerns on. Free speech, search and seizure, and this one provision that said walking on RTD vehicles with bare feet is prohibited. I told this is vague, for one thing, because it doesn't prohibit hop, skipping, or jumping. And you'll see in some of my videos, that's in fact what I do. I said, I'm not walking, I'm hopping.
Right. True, that's true. That's awesome.
They didn't provide any data. Why did they need this? They didn't even provide a single complaint. And we asked for it. And I said, you're going to abuse this statute, this code in this way. Well, about 6 months later, because they passed it anyway, of course. And by the way, there isn't any data to support that barefootedness is dangerous. As a matter of fact, data to the contrary. And if you're concerned about people's injuries and foot safety, you need to ban the high-heeled shoe. I'm just saying.
Okay.
About December 2016 that passed. In the summer, we started hearing some chatter that people were being denied access to the bus. I told RTD, this will entirely disenfranchise the homeless and no one else.
Right.
And there is no substantial government interest here. You can't show it. And then one of my clients who just does not wear shoes. Their shoes, feet are hard to do when you're homeless, you know? And this guy just didn't fucking wear them ever. And that's what I learned a lot about this too, because believe me, I thought all the same things you do too. Then I learned. So Austin we sent him down to the Social Security Administration to reestablish his conservatorship because his conservator had passed away. And they wouldn't let him get back on the bus to come back to his campsite. And he walked 5 miles to get back home. And he was pissed. Right? I could walk 5 miles in a day barefoot, sure. So could he. I couldn't in the beginning, but that wasn't it either. It took 2.5 hours, for fuck's sake.
Right.
And he paid for a day pass.
And the reason for denying him? Because of some stupid rule?
Because he didn't have shoes, yeah. So that pissed me off.
What does he need them for?
Yeah, I've wrapped plastic bags around my feet to get on the bus before. I said, you don't make... They said, well, you spread disease. No, hookworm is the only disease I can spread. Do you have wallows of feces all over your bus? And I'm going to step in there infected with hookworm?
Dude,
we have hookworm in Colorado.
The reason I'm asking you about this is because I wear shoes when I sleep. I mean, I don't like I don't like being barefoot ever.
Really?
But if you want to be barefoot, what do I care? I'm wearing shoes.
Well, yeah, people are, what about athlete's foot? Well, athlete's foot is a shoes disease. And so I asked her, I said, well, are you putting chemicals on your floor that I should be concerned about absorbing through my skin? If you're concerned about the spread of diseases, why are you not requiring people to wear gloves and masks? Because that actually spreads disease.
Right.
So
yeah, you're right.
I objected to this. I was very upset about it. I was way more upset about it than Austin was. But he's used to being barefoot, right? But 5 miles a long way. It's not acceptable. And so
I would have never done it. I would have died in the sun.
Well, now I know I have a precise example of a situation. But again, this is a difficult community to get. You can't get them to test these things and then follow them through to the end game.
Right.
And take it all the way to federal court, right? Well, I will take it all the way to the court. You can't keep a good bitch down, and I'm not going to stop. So the next time I was in Denver for some court support for somebody else, I decided that was my day. And we're coming back from the courthouse, and I handed my recording device and my shoes to my buddy, and we got on the bus. And I announced my protest. And 2 blocks later, I was arrested. And the docket number is 17GS013143. I still haven't been to trial. That was over a year ago. They wouldn't give me my discovery. They were requiring me to pay a $20 fee. I refused to pay their ransom.
Right.
Denver's the only entity in the state charging it, and the state rule actually say they're not allowed to. And I didn't pay the fucking fee. So I took them to the Supreme Court on a writ for extraordinary remedy. And I got my fucking discovery, and they spent $20,000 to give me 2 sheets of paper because I would pay them $20 for it. It's horrifically delayed.
Say that one more time, please.
They paid $20,000 to not give me 2 sheets of paper, only to have to give them to me because I refused to pay their $20 ransom.
Wow.
Now, there was actually more than 2 pages in the report because, they repeat all that stupid shit, but all I cared about was the fucking driver's statement.
Right, okay.
So the barefoot, they ripped me off the bus.
So the barefoot, you got arrested for that?
Oh, yeah. They charged me with trespassing, disturbing the peace, and then the very day that they had to send me my discovery, they added the charge of threats.
What threats?
The allegation is that I told the cop while I was handcuffed in the back of the patrol car in the sun with the windows rolled up with the heat on for 40 fucking minutes. Allegedly, I threatened him by saying that I was going to skull fuck him until cum squirted out of every pore on his asshole. and they will present a body camera recording that suggests that those words probably did come out of my mouth.
Did you say that?
Okay, I did.
What? You know what? That's so. That's gonna be said out loud in court.
Oh, they'll play the video, I'm sure.
Oh, that's the fucking best, bro. I wish you lived here, dude. I would be there. I would be in the courtroom and be a fucking trail of popcorn from the my car to the courtroom.
I will tell you, if you want to read two really good articles about my work, Irene Rodriguez writes for The Nation Report.
Mm-hmm.
And so if you look up Eric Brandt, jury nullification in Adams County on The Nation Report, she's written 2 articles. The Adams County article is interesting. And I'm not going to spoil any of that. But the article about the jury nullification, the title of that one is Jury Acquits. The jury finds Eric Brandt not guilty again. The jurors were embarrassed for the city. They were angry.
Good.
And that was one of our Plaza cases from the glory days of the courthouse occupation. But she wrote a very long, very detailed, very good article about the situation. Yeah, take a look at that. That's just a chill.
All right.
I'm no stranger to pissing them off.
Eric, I'm going to be keeping in contact with you.
I go to jail for a while on the 20th of December. I'll let you know that.
Okay. Merry Christmas.
So, thank you. And of course, I still have all these other cases. I will tell you that I settled, the city of Brush, Colorado, settled with me recently for the toilet brush flush incident. And if you're not familiar with that, it's the most profitable 1 minute and 20 seconds of my life.
What's the name of the video?
If you look up Eric Brandt, Brush, Colorado, you'll find a couple of videos that I've put in a group called the Toilet Brush Flush. And on December 18th, they drugged me out of the city council meeting. At 1 minute and 20 seconds, they interrupted my 3-minute public microphone because they didn't like the word fuck. And no, it's not the first time I've been drugged out of a city council meeting in handcuffs.
Right.
And I've certainly been drugged out of better buildings than that.
Right.
But they did settle.
Okay.
But the criminal case is still going on.
When you say they settled, like, they paid you?
They paid me $25,000.
Who paid you?
The city of Brush. Well, no, their insurance company, but their municipal liability.
For what? For First Amendment violation? What? What's the settlement?
Yeah, exactly. If you watch, the settlement is an agreement to hold each other harmless. So it did not include an admission of fault. What
were they scared of?
This is the Westminster case all over again, and Westminster's at $1 million in litigation in 4 years, and they still won't settle with me. And they have the same lawyer, and their insurance company doesn't have as much underwriting as Westminster did. So they hit I went out there to vindicate a councilwoman who wrote "fuck the police" on her personal Facebook page after creaming the former police chief who she ousted in a sexting scandal and another law enforcement employee in re-election. So they censored her. They tried to charge her with cyberbullying and all that shit. So when there was a verified "fuck the police" crisis in Podunk, USA, I had to go. And I said, I don't know what the fuck is wrong with you people, but "fuck the police" is absolutely protected speech.
Absolutely.
At that moment, the mayor removed me. And if you watch that video, the questions I asked are very important because I established my claim in those questions. I said,
what was the charges?
Are you removing me or are you arresting me?
Okay, what were the charges?
I'm just removing you. The charges are interference with obstruction of a lawful assembly, obstruction of government operations, and disturbing the peace.
How did you do that? By speaking at the microphone?
Right. So the mayor said, no, you're not being arrested. You're just being removed from the building.
Okay.
So put a dot on the timeline right there.
Okay.
Because everything prior to that dot was incorporated into my federal civil rights lawsuit that I filed pro se.
Okay.
So I have violation of speech. I have retaliation for speech. And I also alleged a policy of violating people's rights to speak.
Did you get arrested that day?
So then, as I'm being removed from the building, from the room by 7 armed goons, I said, I object to this unlawful silencing of my speech. Ladies and gentlemen of Brush, get ready for a motherfucking surprise.
Okay.
So they arrested me for making a credible threat to the citizens of Brush.
What threat? The vague?
Well, that's what I'm saying.
The vague, there's going to be a surprise statement?
Well, then I went back there 2 months later. I had written the lawsuit and filed it. And I went back and I stood at the post. Well, they also didn't like it because when they called me up there, you have to give your name and address. And I said, my name is Eric and I live inside my body.
That's great.
Well, we're going to have a better address than that. I said, well, I don't think you could find a better body than this one right here.
Exactly. This is the one I've been issued. This is the one I've been issued.
I've been here all my life, and I plan on sticking around until I'm gone. You can have it when I'm done.
And wherever this body goes is where I go. I mean, that's all there is to it. That's where we live.
So I went back in February. I wanted to file the suit before I had to do some jail time in Denver. And again, I filed it, and I took it to Brush to give him a courtesy copy. So I went up to the podium, and I said, my name is Eric Brandt. And I'm still living inside my body, thankfully. And that's all I said. I just stood there silently for 2 minutes.
And stared at him?
And then I went, these motherfuckers, I bet you're sorry to see me again.
I just talked over you, so say that again. You sat there silent for 2 minutes, and then what?
I stood there in absolute silence for 2 minutes. But they stole 2 minutes of my speech. So I made him sit for 2 minutes of my speech, which was to say nothing.
Mm-hmm.
And then in the dead quiet, I popped up like a jack-in-the-box and shouted, "Surprise, motherfuckers! I'll bet you're sorry to see me again."
Okay.
And I served him a copy of the lawsuit.
Right there at the council meeting?
Yeah.
Who did you serve?
I gave him a courtesy. I said, I have a courtesy copy here if I could approach the Diaz. And I listed all of them council people as defendants, and the mayor, and 7 cops, and Sheriff Crone.
Wow. What happened that day?
Oh, they sat there and took it like dead potatoes, just like they should have the first time.
Oh, so they actually acted within their oath this time.
Yes, they did. They didn't say a fucking word. As a matter of fact, I was out front with a sign with a big toilet on it, with turds that I put their names on, holding on to each other, going down the toilet, and my middle finger pulling the thing down, and it says, "It's the toilet brush flush."
That's great, dude. You're fucking great, man.
So yeah, now, out of that, Sheriff Crone's lawyers filed a protection order on me with the judge in federal court because I sent them a record demand with a chartreuse middle finger as the watermark behind it.
With a watermark of a middle finger?
Yeah.
So he got scared of a what? So they're scared of speech, basically.
Yeah, absolutely. Your Honor, we don't know when he told us things like, "Go ahead, Shuckleberry, make my day." That's a reference to Dirty Harry and a gun pointed in your face. Because we don't know what Mr. Brandt is going to do. And I have like the words litigation in my communication with him like 70 times. And you don't know? You don't know your client's opponent? For fuck's sake. I will kill you under pounds and pounds of staples and paper cuts. What do you mean you don't know what my intentions are? I've been arrested 120 times in 4 years, and not one of them is a violent crime.
Right. Your intentions are
literature.
They know exactly what your intentions are, and that's why they're fighting so hard, to expose them.
This guy was crying. I published that hearing. I published that one already.
Good.
I published his part. Yeah.
All right.
Yeah.
We got to end this, man. Go ahead.
All right, man.
No, not that abruptly, but how can people help you? Let's start there.
Okay, how can people help me? One, people can help me the most by increasing their own knowledge and awareness of the need to balance and keep in check our government. If they will give more time to knowing what government by the people looks like, and knowing that it only works when the people show up, then they will have vindicated me and my work.
Okay.
But if they would like to do something more material, more substantial, then I am, they finally convinced me to do it, I am accepting donations to my PayPal account.
Okay, and what's the email address for that?
You go to paypal.me/fuckcopsguy, or CopCam paid $3,000 to purchase the Fuck Cops domain name, and he pointed it to my PayPal account.
Oh, CopCam, the guy who invented like the 10-hour-long cop camera?
Yeah. He called me and started asking me questions. I didn't know I was live on his show, but he wanted to talk to me and let me know that he had a surprise for me. And he pointed fuckcops.com to paypal.me/fuckcopsguy.
All right, so listen, subscribers of mine, go to fuckcops.com and give this dude a $5 bill or a $10 bill.
I will tell you what the money goes to if you want me to.
Hold on.
Right.
This guy is an American patriot. This guy, he puts judges in check. He puts police in check. He's on the front lines of the liberty movement. No, I haven't seen anyone do it as good, as well. The video I watched today was unbelievable. I'm going to give you a few bucks myself. And
thank you, sir.
So, fuckcops.com. Throw Eric a 5, 10, or a 20 or whatever you can do. And plus, he's good. Let's get him a pile of money while he's sitting in the pen. How long you got to go to the jail for?
I'm going to go to jail for 90 days for sidewalk chalk.
For sidewalk chalk?
Yeah.
Oh, my God. See, this conversation can go 17 hours, so let's stay.
There's an article on the Westword. When you look at the Westword, they've got other links to Eric Brandt. There's an article about this.
What else would you like my subs to do or look at or support you?
I would like them to subscribe to my channel.
Which is?
To keep up to date. It's Eric Brandt.
Spell it, please.
ERIC. The last name is Brandt. It's spelled Bravo, Romeo, Alpha, Nancy, Delta, Tango.
Okay.
And make phone calls to the jail to check on, to do a welfare check on me. For one thing, it drives them nuts. They get a lot. Denver got a lot of calls when I was there last time. And yes, I heard about it.
Which jail is it?
Yes, it keeps me safe. I will be in the Adams County Detention Center.
Okay.
Unless I am written out to Morgan County, Elbert County, or Denver County for cases that I have there.
Okay.
So that's where I'll be primarily at. And yes, it keeps an inmate safe if people periodically call and check on them.
Okay.
And we're going to try and do a live stream from the jail.
That would be great.
They do video visitation in Adams County over the internet, and we're going to attempt to do live stream from the jail. And I don't think anybody's ever done that before, so keep your eyes open for that.
And then what? You're going to be free around late February, early March?
Well, see, I have several old appeals from Westminster that have matured, and there's a question on consecutive or concurrent on a couple things.
Mm-hmm.
So what I'm telling people, what I'm expecting, the reason why I'm going to take 4 crates of legal paperwork in with me is I'm going to be in jail for 68 days or 6 months or longer.
Okay. Well, that sucks.
You know, that I will tell you that I've been arrested like 120 times,
mm-hmm.
8 times for sidewalk chalk, 91 times for the fuck cop sign. The longest I have served in jail was in Denver. I did 72 days. And that's the only real jail sentence I've ever done before. Most of the jail time that I'm serving is because of not knowing what I was doing in the early days. These cases are like 4 years old. So be educated, stand up, and be ready to take your hits. So if you want to stand up for a $22 jaywalking ticket where the risk is $0, so it's $22, then yes, absolutely, clog the system with that shit.
That's right.
Stop doing it. If you're taking a stand on felony charges and it's going to impact the rest of your life substantially, then look at your discovery, consult attorneys, research your own case, use your attorney as a partner. He's your legal advisor. You are the fact advisor. You live the case, and you're the only one that cares about the outcome.
That's right.
And you may want to take a plea.
Right.
But don't do it until you've studied it.
Eric,
Happy Fuck the Cops Day.
I wouldn't mind talking to you again before you go in, man. If you want to call me,
sure.
Call me anytime.
Thank you. I'll have money on my account at the jail. I might even call you from the jail, huh?
That's fine.
Outstanding.
All right, sir.
Remember, a finger a day keeps the popo away.
Let the record reflect that Eric says a finger a day keeps the popo away. God, man, you tore that judge and you tore him like 6 new assholes.
He's pissing me off, man.
Dude, oh my God, you are my fucking hero. I can't wait to cover that video. All right, Eric.
That judge, by the way, will no longer do any cases associated with the yellow shirted guy.
Good.
Any of the fuck cop screw, he will relieve himself from the bench and have another magistrate come in and take it, and then he comes back when we're done.
Good.
Yeah. That's a win.
Call me before you go in, man.
Yes, sir.
Thank you, Eric.
Thank you, sir.
I'll see you.
Good night.
Bye-bye.